What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Minecraft. Here we are on ChunkSMP, and today we're going to take a look at some of the stuff that I've been working on off camera and possibly work on the church some if time permits. So let's get started. I have been working on a few little projects off camera, mainly because I had no idea how to do them, and it's this one project I've been working on for almost a day and a half, and I finally got it to a working state. It's not in the state that I'd like, but it at least works. So we'll go kind of take a look at some of this stuff. I'm going to apologize right now. I might have to mute my mic occasionally. I've got some really bad congestion that's been going on for a couple of days now, and makes it hard to talk a little bit sometimes. So, if you'll remember, we got a nether connection here. So we'll go jump through that. And then over here is something new, a spider farm. This is something that I started. I went and did basically just some straight down burr holes throughout my entire biome, looking for some type of spawner because everybody else has a spawner and I really wanted one. Well, I found one. Unfortunately, it's a spider, which is apparently incredibly hard to farm, as I found out. The problem ends up being is that spiders can climb walls, and so it's very hard to make a spawner that actually works effectively at trapping them and allowing you to kill them. So I created this one, and it took me quite a while to figure it out. Oh, this is glitching. You must be up here. It's not perfect, but it does work. I'll let him be for now. This isn't a spider slaying episode. And this is real rough. I just finished it last night. Haven't really messed with it too much, but as you can see, I've been collecting quite a bit of string. When I hang around long enough to actually kill some of them for XP, we get some spider eyes. But for the most part, I just put the system in automatic mode. So yeah, it has two modes, automatic and manual. Manual, of course, you get the XP, you get the spider eyes, in addition to everything else. Then automatic mode, sometimes I'll just AFK here and put it in automatic mode. We have some crushers that we can turn on, and it'll just take care of the spiders for us. We don't get any XP out of the deal unless we hit them at least once or twice before they die. But at the same time, it keeps our string stock in order. So. And because we're not in a spawn chunk, it'll unload once we leave, so we'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, not very pretty. It's actually really, really rough. Like I said, just finished it yesterday, late last night, and wanted to show y'all what I had found. I was really hoping for something easier, like a zombie spawner, but not my luck. I get spider. So here we are back at base. Have not made really any significant changes here. Just wanted to kind of show you where our chest status is. So this is what I consider my valuable chest. It's got a few things in here. We got some ender pearls. We'll go ahead and just take a few of those. I haven't really gone out and done very much ender pearl farming. Back when we first killed the dragon, I set up what I call a poor man's Enderman farm, where just basically set up a 2-block high roof, stand underneath it, and go to town. But one of the other guys is supposedly working on a really nice spawner that's going to produce pearls for days, so that's really exciting. Dirt, doing rather well on dirt. This is kind of a miscellaneous chest, but basically gravel, netherrack, things like that. Over here we got cobble. There's not much of it. We've been cooking it up into smooth stone and also into stone brick, which I like to use. As far as my tool chest, mostly just secondhand used stuff that's about to break. Eventually I'm going to start combining this stuff together. I did happen to manage to get, finally, I swear, the enchanting table seems to hate me on this server. but I finally managed to get something decent. This was a level 30 enchant on a diamond sword, sharpness, looting, and fire aspect. I'm really happy about that. Our wood situation is not good. I basically have almost all the wood. Well, there, now we have all the wood that we have stocked up in my inventory. We're probably going to go work on the church here in just a minute. Our food situation is looking good. I realize that not all this is food, but I group things together for easy management. Let's see. Oh, and I worked on this. Essentially, I'm trying to slowly kind of make this place look nice. Right now, it's very utilitarian. Some of the other guys have really, really nice bases. I haven't really got to that stage yet. I'm essentially just trying to build up infrastructure and things like that right now. And then I'll go back. So I put down some trees. These are actually going to be permanent trees that I'm not going to be cutting down for wood. They're just going to be for ornamentation. These, however, are going to be cut down because we're going to be using them for our wood source. Wink came by and helped us with a walkway. I have a very hard time with random, and he seems to be able to do random pretty well. So he came over and helped us. We gave him some ender pearls for his trouble. Get up there. Gone. There we go. So yeah, I guess let's go up top and let's work on the church. Not much else really to report. Like I said, I've spent the majority of my last few days trying to figure out how to build that spider spawner. And what I'll do is I'll put up a short video. It'll probably only be about 5 minutes long in a few days that kind of shows how I built it. Because I tried a bunch of different things before I got something that actually kind of worked. Alright, so here we are. I haven't done anything to the church since we last recorded. I've pretty much just left that alone. What I want to try to do is finish getting the roof on. Maybe figure out what we're going to do for the front and backs of the gables. And then maybe start working on the inside a little bit. I haven't had a chance to go farm any sand, so I don't have any glass cooked up. There's one thing nice about having a hill right here. We can, oh, well, if I hold down the right key. I find myself a lot of times trying to hold down shift, and I end up holding down caps lock, which doesn't do the same thing. There we go. Not sure if we're going to have enough wood to make it. I think we will. Let's just hope so. So a bunch of stuff's been happening in the last few days. Some stuff that I want to talk to y'all about. There's some stuff that I can't directly talk about. And of course, I bet, yeah, I don't have an axe. That's great. Okay. Interesting. Let's break that again. Okay. Perhaps we should relog. I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. Let's try this again. There we go. Of course, an axe would really be beneficial, but I'm already up here. Oh. Wow. Okay. Back upstairs we go. So like I was saying before, we had to stop recording just to relog. I've had a lot of stuff happen in the last few days. Some of it I can talk about directly, some of it I cannot. But I've actually got two stories that tie together as far as what I really want to discuss with you. And the thing that I really want to discuss with you is understand your health care, understand your family's health care, understand when someone is blowing smoke when they really don't know what they're talking about, because that's happened to me twice in the last few days, and both times have had pretty serious implications. So the first story I'm going to tell you about, I can talk about completely freely. My son, my little 2-year-old boy, had a rash that broke out on his body. And it was an unusual rash in that we did the usual thing, me being a paramedic. It's like, okay, well, we'll give him some Benadryl. We'll put some steroid cream, some over-the-counter steroid cream on it, and it'll go away. Well, it was going away, but it wasn't going away as rapidly as it should have. And it was also, the parts that had been there were going away, but it was also still spreading a little bit. So we said, okay, you know, we should probably go to the doctor and have this looked at. So we first time that we went to the doctor, we saw the doctor wasn't available. So we saw his physician's assistant. And his physician's assistant diagnosed it as something called contact dermatitis. Essentially, the treatment for the contact dermatitis is essentially the same as what we were doing. Treating with Benadryl, steroid cream. They also issued an oral steroid to try to help with it, to try to help with the inflammation and keep everything under control. And so we were doing that. And he was getting better, but it was taking a long time. It was taking a lot longer than it should have, we felt. So a week and a half went by, and we contacted the doctor's office and actually saw the doctor. And the doctor tells us, well, this isn't contact, at least it doesn't, the doctor said that he didn't feel that it was contact dermatitis. He felt very certain that it was scabies, which is a little bug that basically gets underneath your skin. It's kind of like lice, only it lives under your skin. Well, I've never had any experience with scabies, and so I basically took his word for it because I hadn't had any experience with it whatsoever. Went home, looked it up, and sure enough, it looked fairly similar. There were some differences, but it looked fairly similar. And I took it on the fact that he's a pediatric physician. He sees this kind of stuff all the time, and that's what it is. So we start treating him for scabies, and the way that you do that is with it's a cream that is designed to kill the little critters that are living under his skin. So we start that. That's going on, and we notice that he's not really getting any better. In fact, this is getting a lot worse. And it's starting to aggravate me because, you know, if we're treating it appropriately, these things should not be getting worse. They should be getting better. Well, we continue down this path for a little while because we're making an assumption again, and that's a dangerous thing, but we're making an assumption that the doctor really does know what this is and that it was misdiagnosed the first time, and that's why it didn't completely go away. Well, this continues to spread to the point where it's almost covering his entire body. And finally we say, you know what, there's something not right about this. And so we go ahead and change gears, take him to a different doctor. And the different doctor basically finally correctly diagnoses it, which is subacute eczema. Now, for those of you not in the medical field who don't understand what it is, it's not that critical exactly what it is. Essentially, his body had an allergic reaction, and that allergic reaction has been sustained due to the stuff we were putting on him to try to kill the scabies, which we were told existed. So essentially, his skin got irritated, it caused an allergic reaction, and then we sustained that reaction by treating him for scabies when he didn't really have them. Hello, skeleton. Goodbye. So, anyway, so, of course, me being in the medical field, I should have caught it sooner. I should have caught it sooner. I should have registered the fact that something wasn't right. I may not have known exactly what that not right is, but it's something that I probably should have caught. But it's one of those things where it's, when it's your kid, you tend to get kind of dumb in a lot of ways because you expect that other people around you who say that they know what's going on actually do know. So that was a mistake that I made. And it's fixed now, but it comes to a point of be careful when you're dealing with medical issues, when you're dealing with medical issues of yourself or your family. It's important that if you don't understand why something is, that you get an explanation in some form. They if you don't understand, they need to make you understand in one way or another. You shouldn't accept that at face value. Now let's jump to something else which happened to me a day and a half ago. And this is the one thing that I can't really talk about all that much. But essentially, in my opinion, another medical professional screwed up. And they screwed up bad. And as a result, something bad happened. The problem is, the point when that something bad happened was in the back of my ambulance. I want people to understand something. An ambulance is essentially a mobile, the term that we use is mobile intensive care unit, MICU. What that means is that you can get the same level of care in an ICU that you can receive in the back of an ambulance. You can receive that same level of care. Now, there are some caveats to that. There's a lot of stuff that we don't, for example, we don't have access to every single drug that a hospital pharmacy has, but the procedures, the training is all there. So that, if, let's say, we have to take a bad patient who requires a very special medication or a very special medical device, the sending hospital can basically say, okay, look, this is the medication, here's some information on it, this is how you use it. I look over the information that they give me. Okay, yeah, do you have any questions? No, I got this, let's go. And that's the way that it happens a lot of the time because, we can't carry every single medication that a hospital can carry. It just can't happen. We don't have, the hospital has this massive pharmacy where they keep all their medications. We don't have that luxury. Well, I receive a patient actually from an ICU, and I get a very poor information. And see, this is a big deal to me. I'm a medical professional taking over care for someone else, from someone else. I need to know exactly what's going on with that patient in every capacity. And this goes back to what I was saying too about if this is your family member. You deserve to be fully informed about what's going on with your family member. And in this case, I was not fully informed. In fact, I was very poorly informed. When I asked about the patient, we call it getting a report in the medical field. We call it getting a report. So I went to get report, and the report I got was from this healthcare professional was, I just came on at 7 p.m. and the other nurse did not give me a report because the patient was transferring out. And so now I'm in a situation where I have a patient. Looks like I ran out of wood. So we're going to have to finish this later. This is actually going to be the choir loft. Didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to show that we're kind of at a stopping point, unfortunately, because I'm out of wood. I have to farm some more wood. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue talking, and I'm going to start laying some stuff out just with dirt so I can get an idea of where things are going to go. So essentially, that that particular nurse told me that she had just come on at 7 and that she did not get a report because the patient was transferring out. So now I'm in a situation where I have no real knowledge of what's wrong with this patient. In fact, the nurse who's handing off care to me has no real knowledge of what's going on with this patient. And I'm going to have to crawl in the back of a 10 by 10 space going 70 miles an hour down the highway and try to effectively manage this patient, which is a real problem. It is, in that, you know, I need to be informed, just like she would expect to be informed. In her case, that other person who got off work before I got there, it was their fault. They should have delivered report. Now, there may have been other factors influencing. I don't know. She may have tried to give a report, and the person who talked with me said, "Oh, don't worry about it. They're transferring out. It's okay." But ultimately, I got no medical report on what was wrong with this patient, why they were going, what sorts of medications were they on, what precautions were there. So the only way that I could find out about what was going on was to actually read the packet. Now, anytime a patient goes from hospital to hospital, or really anywhere for that matter, there is a packet that gets sent, which is the patient's medical record for that particular visit. Now, this medical record can be something like 20 pages, or it can be upwards of 150 pages. I've seen them even larger than that. So here I am in the back of my 10 by 10 ambulance going down the highway trying to keep a patient happy and healthy and what we would call stable. I'm having to read through a patient packet that's quite large, trying to figure out what's wrong with them. And that's a problem. And as a result, some bad things happened. And it's under investigation right now. I can't really talk about it. But my point with this, again, is if someone doesn't inform you, then you need to call them on it. You need to make sure that you are informed, whether this being your family member or yourself or anything like that. You need to be properly informed about what's going on and why things are happening. Because you can end up in a situation like me, which I have been in twice in the last week or so, in which I was poorly informed and bad things happened. In my son's case, his rash got worse, his itching got worse, and we prolonged getting him the appropriate treatment that he needed because we were under the impression that the doctor knew what he was talking about, and we took it on that fact because, I'm a paramedic. For as good as I am not a doctor, and I fully admit that. I am not a doctor. And so when a doctor says, "Oh, this is what it is," I kind of take it for the fact that that's what it is because he knows. He went to school a lot longer than I did. He put a lot more time in. He sees a lot more patients than I do every single day. He knows. And because of that, because I didn't think more critically about the situation, again, his condition got worse. He's better now, but it was a bad situation all around, and I shouldn't have let it happen. And then cut to a few days ago when a nurse decided that she didn't need to do her job, and as a result, something bad happened with that other person. And it all comes down to they have a responsibility that they need to fulfill, just like I have a responsibility that I need to fulfill. But also, you as the family, you as the patient, you need to, you need to be on these people about doing their job appropriately, because sometimes they're not going to do it appropriately. Sometimes they're going to mess up. And you need to be on them. You need to be watching them to make sure that everything gets done that needs to get done and is being done properly. If you don't understand it, then they need to take the time to explain it to you one way or the other. And if they're unwilling to explain it to you, then tell them that you want to speak to someone else who is willing to take that kind of time. Because the outcome is, the risks of the outcome are far too bad not to do that. So I think we'll take a little rail trip back to our little home, and we'll close out the episode. Thank you so much for watching. We will continue working on the church next episode, and we will probably also begin working on making the spider spawner look nicer. Stay tuned. Probably in the next few days, I'll put up a short 5-minute video on how I made the spider spawner, because I found that there are very few videos out there on how to make a spider spawner, but also some of the other designs that I tried were from older versions of Minecraft, and apparently the physics has changed a little bit on how they act and how they track, and I couldn't get the older designs that I saw on the internet to work, so I had to come up with my own design. As far as how it relates to other mobs like spiders and zombies, the mechanics are very significantly different in how you approach the spawner, how you use it. It's not I thought it was going to be just pretty much like build a zombie or a skeleton spawner and then you'll catch spiders. You know, it's no different. Well, it turns out it's very different. And I had to do a lot of experimentation to try to get it to work right. So anyway, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. We'll continue working on the church next time. We'll work on the spider spawner, making it look nice, and we will see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.